Hello, my name's Mandy Morgan. I am the Vice President of Programs for the Tarflower Chapter of the Florida Native Plant Society. And this morning I am out here at the Wekiva Springs State Park, Sandhill area. And I'm with Catherine Bowman. She is leading the Tarflower Restoration Project at Mead Botanical Gardens in Winter Park, Florida. And we are out here this morning to get a good picture of what a healthy and thriving sandhill habitat looks like. And I'm going to turn it over to Catherine now so she can tell you a little more about the species and the ecosystem here.
Thanks, Mandy. We are here in a part of the Wekiva Springs State Park, which is the Longleaf Pine, Turkey Oak, other xeric oak sandhill. And you can see behind me that the dominant feature are these big old longleaf pines. And under them, there's a lot of grasses and wildflowers and shrubs. The shrub canopy, the shrub cover varies depending on when the last controlled burn was. I think they burn out here every 2 or 3 years, try to rotate it around to different parts of the sandhill. And right after a burn, in just a couple of weeks, the shrubs are down lower and so many grasses and wildflowers are blooming and bright green. We members of the chapter have been coming out here seasonally or different months throughout the years since 2013 when we started working on the sandhill restoration planting at Mead Gardens to see what the natural spacing of the plants is, what grows in what types of conditions, a little bit of shade, a little bit of sun, what things provide flowers for beauty in Mead Gardens where we're restoring, and also what kinds of plants provide food for the animals that live there. For example, much like here at this sandhill, where there's an active gopher tortoise burrow, we have a population of gopher tortoises at Mead Gardens. And so we're planting a lot of plants based on what's growing around these burrows in order to provide native forage for our population of gopher tortoise. Another thing that we find out here a lot are these big patches of one of the dwarf blueberries. That's again a thing that tortoises eat and also humans eat. There's lots of shrubs right now because it doesn't look like they've burned for maybe 3 years or so out here, 2 or 3 years. And so the shrubs are getting a little taller, but in among them there's still plenty of wildflowers blooming. This time of year, July, is kind of the time when the dry season is wrapping up, but the rainy season has not fully commenced. We have sporadic, quick passing storms, but they're not really dumping enough rain to kick off a lot of growth in the wildflowers so that they are in their fall, late summer reproductive phase. Still, it's beautiful and it's a great place to come because it's always changing. You cannot come here and see the same thing any 2 times. It's really a spectacular place to visit. Let's look at a couple of the plants that are so prolific in the sandhill and really just typify the look of a longleaf pine turkey oak sandhill. One of them is lopsided Indian grass. These flower in the fall, and you can see these are the stalks from last year. They're like 4 or 5 feet tall, and they have these beautiful golden seeds that come off of one side. So it's just a field that looks like, I don't know, golden wheat maybe, if you're in a place where you know what wheat looks like. I don't. But one thing you can tell about these leaves is that they're kind of gray-green, and a way to identify this is when you pull off a little shoot, you can see that where the leaf attaches to the stem, there's this little tongue-like piece of ligule, it's called, and it's fairly long on lopsided Indian grass, and that really identifies this plant when it's not flowering. Obviously, with these stems, when it's flowering, it's quite noticeable. This is another one, and there's probably more wiregrass, which is what this is, than there is in lopsided Indian grass in most sandhills. And these are, just as their name suggests, thin, wiry stems. They're really robust. They respond quickly to fire by regrowing. And the base of these leaves has a little tuft of hairs that you can use to identify these, where the leaf connects to the sheath You probably can't see it, but I'm looking at a little fuzzy tuft of hairs right there. And that will help you tell these apart from other similar looking grasses. So out here at the Sandhill in Wekiva and many other sandhills, there are a number of native milkweeds. This is one of the two most noticeable ones. This is Asclepius tuberosa. These are pretty easily grown from seed. They're hard to keep alive in your garden sometimes because you want to water them a lot, but you can see what the sand looks like out here. It's just yellow and dry, and these really can be killed by overwatering easily. But they provide larval food for monarch butterflies, and they have these beautiful orange flowers that look great in your yard. So let's go see if we can find the other one, the Asclepius Humistrata, after this. Look how beautiful those leaves are. This is the Asclepius Humistrata. It'll have a terminal spray of small pinkish flowers. And this one, it looks like something has already nipped those off and eaten them. But when the flowers get pollinated, the seed pods are large and they contain many seeds with these fluffy parachutes of hairs on them. And we recently collected, one of our members collected some of these, and we are growing them out in a greenhouse, and we noticed that the seedlings look nothing like the adults. They're not fleshy, they don't have these pretty veins on there. So one thing we're realizing as we're doing our restoration at Mead Gardens is where we are also putting some seeds in, we need to be very well aware of what those seedlings look like so that when we're weeding and cleaning up or just enjoying the scenery, we don't damage the seedlings since they look almost nothing like the adults. So back there in the sandhill, we saw a gopher tortoise burrow. And one of the things about the gopher tortoise burrow that's important in the sandhill is that they keep the soils disturbed so that there's bare ground for seeds to recruit on, or for birds to take dust baths in, or for ground nesting bees and wasps to find open bare ground. Here is another important disturbing soil disturbing organism, and these are harvester ants. You don't see these very often because they are often destroyed when natural communities are developed, but you can see them scurrying in and out, and you see that they put out here in the skirt pieces of rocks and sand, and they'll bring seeds in and out to eat, and they help to distribute seeds as well as to keep the area open for recruitment of other plants.
All right, thank you for tuning in to our little Sandhill 101, and thank you, Catherine, for giving the talk. And I hope that that was helpful and educational to you all out there. And as a reminder, if you're looking for volunteer hours or you're interested in ecosystems or restoration and want some experience being involved in a community project, the Tarflower Chapter has been working for the past 7 years to restore an upland area in Mead Botanical Garden in Winter Park to its historic Sandhill Pine Savanna habitat that it once was hundreds of years ago. And we are looking for people to help with anything from weed pulling to planting to landscape design to doing graphics and outreach. So if you're interested and you want some experience or you want to help in these efforts, please contact any of us in the chapter, and we would be happy to find a spot or a job for you to do. Thank you so much.